So this video is to present my Minecraft world on my portfolio. Now, generally with Minecraft, there's a lot going on the screen. If we look down at what can be considered your hotbar, which is where the health hearts are, currently I've got 14 hearts, which you can't normally obtain in normal Minecraft, but I've got mods on which allow me to do more than what the base game has. Currently in my inventory, just for reference, I have got the best armor you can have in the game on my world. And with the mod, you can also attach an elytra, which is essentially a set of wings that allow you to fly. The armor is the best you can possibly get in the game. Some of the best tools you can get, for instance, the best food source, and then basically the rocket fuel to fly around. Now, the first thing I built in this game was this house, as this was my starting house. It had a crop field here, which was with wheat, but I'm growing carrots at the moment. It then has, it's very messy. It has a bunch of stuff from my journeys about like how I found these pots and stuff, as you have to find them in the world. And it shows I have a lot of them. Then there's a board of things to do, or where certain stuff is in my world. Like I've already built this frog farm, I've already built the shulker farm, and then it's telling me a bunch of coordinates. And this was before I put a bunch of mods on that allow me to, say, see where stuff is, as you can see. And so this board isn't really useful anymore. Then over here, this was a project I was doing, which was I was documenting the world, sort of like a biography of the world. As you can see when I read the book, it has obviously content page. It tells you what farms were built at the time of the book being recorded. I have the locations, all their different names, and I came up with all of like the stuff for them. So if we go to like locations, you'll have like the name of the world, which I called Vermithane, and then the underworld, which is considered Nether, which I renamed to Nivax, and then all these different locations in the world, giving them like lore and different things. This was general enchanting station, and then with a bunch of stuff that you would need to enchant. This is a general brewing station. Then up here we had general chest areas with crafting. And then up here it was a bedroom, but I think I moved the bed somewhere. So here was a sugarcane farm, but we moved it since we've got more automatic ones. This is an old sugarcane farm, which also has which is a manual one. Then we have automatic farms, which, very simply, as we just saw there, this detects, it's looking at the stem. When the stem turns into a block, it sends a signal to push that or that one, to push it, which destroys it, and then sends it into these hoppers. Now, hoppers are essentially like buckets. When something goes into them, it falls into the bucket, but then it allows the bucket to move it across. So it moves it across. So like, as you see the arrows, it will follow the arrows. So if an item falls into here, it will go to this one, then move into this one, and so on and so forth. And it just pushes it along. It's like a conveyor belt. And then you see it pushes it all into here. We'll get to that bit. Now, this is my main base. This is where everything is kind of at the moment. We have a villager breeder, which is very important for making machines. Essentially, these two, they get together, they have some fun. Then the child immediately wants to move into these beds that are just here. They fall down and then they get trapped in here, and then I essentially just pick them up with a minecart and they go to wherever I need them to go. These are more manual carrot farms. Over here is a bee sanctuary. So this is where I breed bees together as they need lots of flowers, and it's just a decorative build, really. This is a potato farm and a carrot farm. They will produce carrots and potatoes automatically as they'll farm by themselves and then try and trade with this villager in the middle. But these mine carts that have hoppers in them, as we've talked about, hoppers just carry things along like a conveyor belt, grabs the items that they're trying to throw at the other person and brings them straight down into the system to be collected and stored. This is my old villager trading post. So villagers, if you give them a job like this composter, they will turn into a farming villager, and this emerald is essentially what their money system is. So you can collect emeralds by farming and doing all the stuff. So I have melon farms, which I can then trade those melons into emeralds and money. And it makes that much easier. You can get enchantments, which essentially help you, like respiration allows you to breathe longer underwater, for instance. And it was all about trading with them and getting that sorted. Nether warts, this is important for brewing potions like healing, strength, regeneration, all that stuff. This is a machine I made, which is a industrial incinerator. So to get rid of items in this game, because there's a lot of items in this game, you can either burn the things or drop them in lava, or you'll have to just store them in a chest. So burning them in lava is the best way to do it, as it just deletes the item and gets rid of it. We're in a spectating mode, which is also a mod that I put on. So as you can see here, this is a somewhat complex system. All this does is you put the items you want to dispose of into this chest. This little lever locks the system, so it doesn't allow stuff to get like sent off into the system to be burned. Just making sure. Then the hoppers take the items out of the chest, move them along via the arrows, and then put it into this dispenser, which then pushes it out into this bubble stream. And the bubble stream essentially is like another conveyor belt. It pushes the items up and out, and then pushes it into here where the hopper grabs it by the other hopper, and then pushes again into a bunch of more hoppers, which move it like a conveyor belt up and down, and then puts it into these droppers. Then these droppers get activated and they spit it out into the lava down here. And that's just the general system. This is a redstone clock. Very simple. We're going to go find a bed quickly, just so we can... Oh, there's one down here. Just so we can sleep. Now, what I just flown into there is my main base. This is the base that I'm still in the process of building. As you can see, some of the walls haven't been fully done yet, but we've got an actual enchanting station, as you can see. And then I think I'm still building a way to get up to them so that these entryways will wrap around and go up. But just digging this hole out took about 2 days of actual in-game time. This is a automatic storage room. So each item, you just place them into here, and as we talked about, it will then flow into this bubble column. It will then go up, and then it will go over basically all these hoppers that will suck them down into the system. Now, this is where it gets a little complicated. This redstone contraption essentially allows us to filter out items. Now, there are items in here, and then there are junk items. So, for instance, in this one, it's dirt. So you have dirt, and then it has a bunch of unknown items that basically don't allow stuff to pass through it. So there's 41 items in the hopper. And when an item goes over it, it adds 2, but then it gets filtered through. And that's how the general system works, of being able to filter them. And you can see I'm filtering all these different types of stone, wood, mining metals, drops from a farm, redstone components, another drops from mobs, and then eventually it will get filled with more stuff. And then each of these holes at the bottom will be an automatic storage system. This is a nether portal, which takes you to the nether, which I named the Evacs, the Nevacs in the lore of the world. These beacons show you these power-ups that gives you more resistance, more health, you're faster, you jump higher, and you can see in the dark. and then they give a really cool like beam look effect. Then we have the next villager trading set, which all of these are vanilla trades, so these are all in base game, and these are just for generating tons and tons of emeralds. Then these two sections are from another mod. This mod allows you to essentially make the enchantments go higher. So normally some of the max enchantments you'll get is like looting 3, but here it allows you to get looting 10. It just increases the skill level of the game. Plus you have to, it balances it out so it makes them worth way more. So you have to spend like, say looting 3 in terms of money is like £100 to buy. To get this, you have to spend 30k in like relative terms. Then this is another set of the mod, which allows me to buy stuff that isn't previously buyable, like of items in this game. Like I can buy redstone components, and normally redstone components are really annoying to make, so being able to buy them is much, much easier. Then we have Oceanographer, again, getting tridents, and some of these things are incredibly hard in the game, but this mod just, it balances it out by making you have to buy the things, but it just makes it far easier than running 1,000 to 2,000 blocks, or even 10,000, 20,000 blocks away from your base to try and find these materials. And again, this is drops, and then over here is mining stuff, so you can sell a bunch of like the stuff you get from mines, turn it into money, job stuff, and then you can buy different things. Now that's generally the main base that we've got going at the moment. Down in this section we've got the obviously nether portal, then my house, and then this is the subway system that I have built. Now ice is the best way of kind of getting around as a manual system, and boats, when on ice, go incredibly fast, which allow you to travel super long distances in a quick amount of time. As you can see on the top left in my map, you can see how fast I'm actually moving. I'll just go back to my base, as I'll show you these systems later on. Now, the rest of this part of the base, we have 2 more farms, 4 farms here. This is a sugarcane farm, so this automatically, everything grows to a certain level, and then a flying machine which will come in and it essentially cuts it to the level where it gets the maximum amount of drops and then allows it to grow again, which produces it into its little system here. As you can see, it produces a lot. Then the one up here is a bamboo farm. Again, it does the same. It flies over, cuts them to a level, and then just collects everything. As you can see here, produces a lot. I will fly up into the system, as you can see what's happening here. Again, we have hopper minecarts, which essentially pick the stuff up through the ground as the drops drop on the ground. And then it runs them all the way along into this hopper system. It will then detect when the hopper has something in it. It will stop it from moving. It will collect all the items. The items will then flow down into the machine, as you can see where the arrows go, into these chests. And so on. And these are the flying machines that get stored here. I just don't want to run them because they lag like hell. And lag just means it slows down your game incredibly and makes it look horrible to play. Then we have the iron farm, which breaks a lot. So normally there are zombies in here, and the zombies, being near these villagers, make iron golems spawn. When they spawn, they then flow into this lava down here, which unfortunately does kill them. But when they die, they drop items. Now, the items that they drop is iron and then flowers. So as you can see, we come in here, they fall, and when they're dead, they drop items that go into the hoppers that flow into the chests, and then these chests flow them out into this system here. And then obviously you've got the item filters that we've explained previously of filtering the items. drop them through, and then allow you to just sort out the items. So I can never get flowers in this section, but I can never get iron in this section, and it just allows the flowers to go through into this section. As you can see, the iron just gets deposited in these chests. We get quite a lot of it. This is kind of full, but I need to fix the machine so the zombies are back in there, and that's a pain in the pain to do. Then you got more flowers, and flowers make dye, so you get like red dye from that. And then this is our like bed design. Again, this is a custom design from mods that you can get. That is some of the main farms we've got. Our last big one is a melon farm, which again uses flying machines. Oh, you don't want to. Okay, don't break that. Uses flying machines. These then move these iron bars along, which break the melons in their path. They drop the melons, and then these hopper minecarts pick them up, and then they get sent all the way back. And then again, we have a system where it takes the items out, locks the machine in place so it can't fly again until all the items are drained from the machine, and then where the items go into this bubble column, showing you that, and then moves them all the way along into this system, which then again deposits them and sorts them out. Then when you have them all in the system, you craft them into melon blocks, which is the version you want them in, and then put them in these systems here that send it all the way along up into here, which stores all of the melons as melon blocks. Now, you may be a little confused about why I've put composters on top, because when hoppers, they're constantly every second looking for items. Now they'll be constantly looking for 5 stacks of items constantly, which increases the lag by like 0.01. But this just makes it so that it's constantly looking for one item, so it reduces the lag down and the slowness of your game. Now those are my main farms, all of my main base. We'll now move over to the color hill. I still need to figure out a good name for this, but this is my color machines, which makes all of the colors in the game. So this is a flower farm. It's based in a blue flower biome. So when you bone meal the ground, which is essentially you just put fertilizer on the ground, it makes blue flowers. Then this sort of stacks it in the area, so blue flowers get, so bone meal the fertilizer gets shot up through the ground, put here, a bunch of grass, bunch of flowers. Then this block here will always have something on it, which will then be detected by this one, sending a signal into this one to put more fertilizer down, and so on and so forth till it goes completely up the machine. Now I can run this for a couple seconds just to show you, and I'll explain the turning on bit. So this lever here that goes into here runs a signal all the way along here, which pushes this block up. Now, when this block is pushed up, the signal can go through, essentially like the wire going through another wire, and it allows the signal to pass through, the electrical signal to pass through. But when it's not and it's down, the signal is cut off and there's nothing to, like, keep the signal going. As we can show you here, the signal, it pushes this block up, allowing the signal to work. Then when we press this button, it'll send one pulse that will then enter the system and start the redstone clock, allowing a pulse to signally go round and round and round. And then we siphon that signal to set the redstone clocks to go. Now also, it has another substitute which goes up and up, as you can see, it follows here. And then all these systems essentially just wait to produce water that flows out and breaks all the flowers and pushes them into here. We'll watch the farm run quickly. So as you can see, the system goes in, the redstone clock begins, and these flowers get pushed up. As you see, it produces blue flowers, and the water comes down and breaks them in. It can also produce red flowers. That's just a byproduct of every biome. And to stop the machine, all we have to do is flip the lever that cuts off the redstone circuit, and you see now the signal goes through, it stops, it can't go any further. And then the machine just completely turns off by itself. And then we also get a byproduct of seeds when you destroy grass, And all this is doing is the item filters don't let the seeds through, and then simply just push them straight into here to just be burnt. And then we have deposits that show this is what blue dye will be, this is where you get them from, you just break them down and craft them into things, and then this is the flowers for the red dye. This system does basically the same thing. When you fertilize these flowers, they drop more flowers off the flowers. It's just a thing that the game does. So you exploit that, and then you get to make lots of flowers off them. This is a coca bean farm. All it's doing is you place down coca beans, it breaks the coca beans, and it fertilizes them. All you have to do is keep placing them down, and they'll keep working. This produces a lot of coca beans, as the coca beans will either go into your inventory or they'll fall into these hoppers, and then it will push them into the system, but I haven't run this machine in quite a while. Then we have a cactus farm. Cactus grow independently and grow by themselves. When they have a fence near them, the top layer breaks that is next to them. So whenever they grow, they'll instantly break the top layer off, and then it will fall down the big tubes of water into the system and then carry them into here. And you smelt these for green dye. Now, that is all the colors that you can farm in the game, other than orange, which we have another flower farm for, but it's far, far away, which we won't cover in this video. Then you take them over here, which is my flower storage farm. My flower storage area. So this, you then just place all of them into the systems. Again, you can see the composters just basically reducing the lag on all of these hoppers, which again, all of them have the auto system just making sure that all the right colors are going to each area. We store all the different flowers you can see. All of these will be full up of stuff, and then you just craft them into the dye that you want. And these are all the colors of like everything you can turn into colors. Ink sacs, obviously black. Bones make white dye. And then as you can see down here, we have a bunch of like the different colors, and you just mix them together to make different colors and shades. Like for making the cyan, you put green and this blue together and you make cyan. If you get blue and white together, you make this light blue, and so on and so forth. And with like black and white, you make all the different types of like gray, and then gray and white makes light gray, and so on. We'll sleep in this bed so it makes it daytime. Then we have essentially a lumber yard, which I've called Lumberland, and that took a long time to put those things in the air, because you can't just place a block into midair, it has to be placed on top of another block. So like for instance, the way that the physics work in this game, the reason it can there is because gravity doesn't exist on blocks, but it does on some blocks. So if I place this block here and then reduce this block, you can see it just floats, and this is quite normal for this game. But we're growing jungle trees, this sort of like red tree, which is called acacia. Then we're growing birch trees, which makes a kind of yellow wood. And then this pink tree, which is just cherry blossoms, which was new for this update. That's most of that. Then we have sniffers, which were also introduced in the last newest update. This is my sniffer sanctuary. Essentially, they're old beasts sort of thing. And you place them in this area on top of these blocks, and they'll eventually like hatch and stuff. And my friend, who is also on this world, was starting to build a hobbit hut from Lord of the Rings, as you can see with his building materials. Now, I'll show you the map quickly. So this is the map. As you can see, this is my general base. This is what it looks like from a downwards perspective. Then out in the ocean, we'll cover these farms very closely, and then we'll go to the nether and I'll show you those farms. This essentially produces tons of seafood, fish, a farm, and it's extremely efficient. It also produces blocks and other things like that. This is an old raid farm, so it scares villagers into producing a raid. These raid are essentially the evil people of the world that kill villagers. And they come and raid, and they spawn on the top platform, and then I essentially kill them in a killing chamber, which gives me tons of drops. It gives me tons of emeralds, which again is money. But it also gives me totems of undying. So if I die whilst holding a totem of undying, I come back to life, and it essentially keeps me from dying. That's what I have in my hand, which is a totem of undying. It doesn't normally look like this. This is a texture pack, which essentially changes the look of how something looks. And that's like, it changes it to a heart because I just think it looks better. But again, we will see. Then this is a mob farm. It's extremely efficient. It takes every hostile mob nearly in the game that is like very basic for the world. So it takes creepers, which are essentially exploding monsters, spiders, skeletons, and zombies, and it spawns them in on these platforms, pushes them off into another killing chamber, which kills them automatically just because they fall from a height and then they die. And then this is another raid farm, which we will go to. Yeah. So, as we are traveling, I want to thank you for still sitting through this video. It's probably going to be another 10, 20 minutes max. So as you can see here, this is the farm. It is essentially lifting all of these things up, spawning them into this thing, and then they get pushed into the nether where they die in a killing chamber. And you just sit up here and let them essentially spawn in. As you can see, they'll just keep spawning in, and then you just sit here for like 2 hours, and then the machines produce like 20,000 items per hour, which is, if you play the game, it's very good. Then this is the old raid farm. It doesn't necessarily work. Again, I have to either fix it or make a new machine, which I have, but it's a very complicated process that breaks a lot of the time. This is a old farm, which just allows things to spawn on top of it and allows it to do that. Now this is the next farm. We will just go up to this AFK chamber just up here, as you can see, and then we'll come down in spectator view. As you can see, currently the items are flooded, so nothing can spawn, but when they're down, lots of things will spawn, and then they'll go into this chamber, which again takes them into a sorting system. As you can see, it sorts all of their items that they can ever produce into the storage system. And as you can see, I built 2 layers because it's that efficient at producing stuff that I needed to extend the sorting system even further. Like, you can see the amount of like storage that is there. I believe, so each chest has a slot of 64 stackable items. Now, all of these items can be stacked, meaning you can have 64. Now, there's 27 slots in a double chest. Yep, 27 slots in a double... No, there's 57 slots in a double chest. Times that by 64, which is about 3,500 items per chest. Which means that this whole system roughly holds 1 million items. It's very up there. I will quickly run the farm just so you can see it working in action. Now this, essentially, if I didn't put all of this stuff down, people or like entities would be spawning up here, and it just wouldn't be good, as it would reduce the power of the farm. Now, as you can see, it allows it to go down, and we will go into the area just back up here. Oh, and go back in spectator. And as you can see, we'll start getting things spawning in, lots of things spawning in, and then eventually the water will send a signal, turning it back on and pushing all of these items, all of these entities into... Not that one. No. Here we go. Now you can see all of them on blocks, And eventually the water should be turning on. It's not. Okay, that's a problem. I'll fix the system, but I'll turn it back on so you can see the water. So it should normally automatically engage the water. As you can see, it will then push all of these mobs straight into this killing chamber down here, and it will kill them and get their items and push them into the system. I don't know why it wasn't working. Okay, now we have to go back over to our nether portal. This nether portal will take us to the nether, where I will show you the rest of the farms. And then that will be the conclusion to the tour of my world. Now, this is the nether, or what I've labelled it as the Nevax, which is just a random word I came up with for lore purposes. And if you don't know what lore is, it's like the general story of the world, even though it's not technically. It's my own lore that I created. Now, down here is the general nether. This is where you would normally spawn in, but you can then, as I'll show you, this is the general nether, what it looks like. It's really annoying to build in. So therefore, a lot of people will build on top of the nether roof. Now, this block is incredibly hard to destroy, so you have to build certain machines to just destroy it, which I did. This used to be the old bee farm, but now this is the fully upgraded one, which bees in this environment don't sleep in the nether, so they will be constantly making honey. It just makes the farm far more efficient, and it sends bottles through the system and then gives us honeycombs or honey bottles, which allow us to make essentially redstone machines. And redstone is, in terms of like its electrical engineering, it's all of this sort of stuff. So it takes a lot of brain power and understanding to it's like being in sort of an electrician in a video game, but a more weird, simple version. Then, as we've seen, this is the end of the Guardian farm. So those like fishes with the eyeballs that you were seeing that were floating up, this is their kill chamber. They die on these fires, and then obviously all their items get sorted and filtered all over here. Then over here we have our frog farm, a frog light farm, which we, in this game, you have something called magma cubes, which only spawn in the nether. You take frogs into the nether, and when they eat them, they essentially make little frog lights like this. This is the only way to really get them. It's annoying, but this farm works incredibly well and has a lot of storage to back it up. Then I'm not going to go as far because it takes at least 7 minutes to travel to. We have the wither farm. Essentially, it takes wither skeletons. Think of like skeleton people, but all the skeletons are like black colored. And they drop bones, coal for obviously like cooking and burning stuff, which is a great fuel source in this game. And then we also have wither skeleton heads, which allow us to produce wither skeleton heads, which if you put them on top of soul sand, it creates a mini boss, which when you kill the mini boss, which is called the wither, it produces a nether star, which allows you to make the beacons that I was showing you, where it gave me the power-ups and it sent that beam of light into the sky. And then what's even further, as you can see, to get away to is my gold farm, which I will also post a video of how that works, as I've already recorded that, and I'm not going to fly over here because it takes an incredible amount of time to get to that, but I'll post that video. And then that's mostly the nether. So the last dimension to show you is the end. Now, the end has special properties. You have to go through a special portal that you can get through. Now, the portal itself, it'll look, it's not supposed to look exactly. Okay, this is the wrong portal. But generally, you'll have a portal that looks like this. Now, these aren't normally breakable, but with glitches, you can remove them, so you just have the portal bit. And that's important, and I'll show you why once we get back through the portal and we go to the other end portal. Which is... It's over here, I believe. Oh, yeah, Sand Duper. So, what's possible with the end portal is duping items. So, to be able to dupe items in this game, you can only dupe items that have gravity. So let this, load so it doesn't, slow me down. As you can see, it's glitching a little. This is a chunk loader, so when this is running, it's sending an item in and out of the chunks, and I'll show you what a chunk is. So these are chunk borders. Essentially, everything inside of this chunk will load when this thing is going in and out of, like, the nether and the overworld. Like, it's going out of, like, hell and earth. It's doing that movement. Oh, there we go. Then this is the duper. Essentially, what is... Oh, it's lagging a lot. Jesus. It is... You can see why lag is very important to try and avoid. Because this is incredibly hell to play. Oh, Jesus. So very simply, what it's doing is you have like the little square, and then each of them has like a little bit of gravity blocks, very simply. These gravity blocks get pushed up and in, which essentially, when the system hits the end gate, it essentially dupes the code of the item so that it stays in the overworld, but it then also produces the block into the end, which duplicates the block. Now, if we can get into the end, that's a big if at the moment. Okay, we're having technical difficulties. We might just have to save and quit, and then go back into the world to really see. As you can see, it's loading in it. And sometimes the world will lag, so it's always good to just like save and then go back into the game just to see if the lag's reduced itself. As you can see, it has, and I can move around much better. And then, oh. Maybe not. Okay, we're just gonna go into... Okay, that's gonna be hard. We're gonna go through the other portal so that the machine doesn't completely lag us. Sometimes I'll need to reset my computer just because the machine is taking up so much power off my graphics card and GPU. So we'll just go to the through the other end portal. Jesus. Okay, it is too much lagging, and I will post a follow-up, but generally, in the end, we have a wither killing machine area, and then we also have a shulker farm, which produces shulker boxes, which are essentially chests you can pick up in your inventory and just give you more inventory space, but that's been my world. Thank you very much for watching.